Oh, we're getting more details on the chemicals that could have been used to bring down Northwest Flight 253 on Christmas Day. CNN's Gene Meserve joining me now from Washington with the latest on the forensics. What did you find out, Gene?
Well, Kira, it's interesting. This has to do not with that concealed explosive in the undergarment, but with the syringe that was also found on the aircraft. In an FBI bulletin that CNN obtained last night, it said that preliminary chemical analysis revealed the presence of ethylene glycol. However, I've talked with a law enforcement source today who said they haven't been able to determine that conclusively. They have not been able to figure out yet exactly what the accelerant in this bomb was. That's because this syringe was so badly damaged, it was largely burned. If you recall the picture of it, it looks all shriveled up. So apparently a little bit of a challenge there. As this law enforcement source said to me, they do have the garment, they do have the contents of the garment. The only issue is determining the means by which it was going to be set off. Kira?
Meanwhile, here we are, Gene, with no head of the TSA.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and they're really at the center of the storm here. It turns out that a member of the Senate is holding up the confirmation of the man nominated to take the helm there at the TSA. And it's because of a heated debate over unions, security, and, of course, politics.
50,000 transportation security officers screen, inspect, question, and observe at the nation's airports to keep dangerous people and items off planes. Senator Sen Demint believes giving them collective bargaining rights would hurt security.
Collective bargaining would standardize things across the country, make it much less flexible, much harder for the agency to adapt to changing threats around the world.
Harder, for instance, to react to something like the Christmas Day bombing attempt or the 2006 plot to blow up airplanes with liquid explosives. Within hours of learning of that, the TSA ramped up security and temporarily banned carry-on liquids. The union representing 12,000 TSOs says Demint's argument is rubbish, pointing out that employees of the Border Patrol, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the Federal Protective Service, and others all have full union representation.
You know, no one talked about union membership when the cops and the firefighters went up the stairs at 9/11 at the World Trade Towers. No one talks about our two officers, two union members, who took down the shooter at Fort Hood. There was nothing in their union membership that stopped them from doing their duties.
During the presidential campaign, Barack Obama wrote the union that giving TSOs collective bargaining rights would be a priority. Unions gave him valuable support in the election.
It's all about politics. It's payback to the unions.
Demint pushed the issue at a recent hearing.
How can unionization and collective bargaining enhance security at our airports?
Well, Senator, the answer is collective bargaining and security are not mutually exclusive concepts.
Demint is holding up the confirmation of Errol Southers to head the TSA to make his point, though Southers has been non-committal on the union issue, telling Demint he wouldn't recommend anything that would potentially compromise the safety and security of the flying public.
I think that the nominee understands the confirmation process and that he doesn't want to say anything controversial. But ultimately, once he's confirmed, it's not going to be his choice. It's going to be the choice of the secretary and ultimately the choice of the president. And the president's made it clear where he stands.
Now, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid said today that if Senator Demint hasn't changed his mind by the time the Senate comes back in mid-January, he will take steps to try to hold an up or down vote on the Southers nomination. Back to you, Kira.
Thanks, Gene. And Sen Demint is Wolf Blitzer's guest in the Situation Room. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern, only on CNN.